Eric Swalwell is under intense scrutiny over his relationship with an alleged Chinese spy. My next guest is calling for a ban on Chinese nationals serving as congressional interns. Republican Congressman from Texas, Lance Gooden, joins me now. Good to see you, Congressman. First of all, why are you pushing to do this?
Well, you know, I have thought for as long as I've been in Congress, which is barely 2 years, that it is crazy to me that the only requirement for hiring an intern is that you can't pay them with U.S. Treasury dollars, which means that anyone can walk into the halls of Congress and get a job no matter where they're from. And yesterday's developments with Eric Swalwell just led to further questions. We learned that the Chinese spy placed an intern in his office. We learned 2 years ago, I believe, 2018, that Dianne Feinstein had a spy working for her and she didn't know it. And so we learned yesterday, we got confirmation that there are in fact foreign nationals from some of these adversarial countries like China, Russia, I don't believe Iran, but I think that the U.S. Congress needs to take a stand, and we don't need Chinese nationals interning in congressional offices where you have access to sensitive material. I leave my office and go to the floor, and everyone in my staff has full access to my office, to our computer networks. There's no reason that someone from China should be working in my office, considering what we're up against. The Chinese government has a very expansive campaign of espionage across our nation, and the Eric Swalwell developments that we learned about yesterday are just the tip of the iceberg, I'm afraid.
Congressman Gooden, we're certainly learning about what makes them targets this hour. In particular, Dan Hoffman joined me, formerly of the CIA. He said with regard to Swalwell's intern, the FBI investigation that he had seen pieces of did not indicate that that intern was in any sort of knowledge about Christine Fang, the suspected spy. The wider point, though, that you're making is that there are people who should be looked at closer on Capitol Hill, and now the push for universities and colleges. What's your response to that part of it?
I think it's the secretary in the clip you showed earlier is absolutely right. Nancy Pelosi said just in the last 2 hours that she feels as if Swalwell is above reproach, and she also said that interns don't need full background checks. I disagree with her, and I think that if the shoe was on the other foot, if a Republican on the Intelligence Committee, if we learned that a Republican had the dealings with a Chinese spy and that they had placed interns in his office, the left would be going crazy, and we're seeing this double standard. But I think we've got to watch who we're allowing to come in and work in the halls of Congress, in congressional offices. And it's crazy to me that Democrats wouldn't come out in support of this. The idea that a Russian or a Chinese or an Iranian national, an enemy to our nation, could come into our offices and actually work and have access is just outlandish to me.
You know, and anybody could be nefarious. I mean,
Sure.
I'm surprised at what you're saying. That are we not doing background checks on interns? Like, we have interns in corporate world, and we do background checks on interns.
We don't here. I have to fill out a form, and they get an ID, and then they can get through security and come up to my office. That's it. And there are no rules, and there should be.
All right. Good to have you on the program. Get this perspective on. Representative Gooden, thank you.